Hi, my name is Marshana, and I want to talk to you about the Good Neighbor Consortium. The vision for the Good Neighbor Consortium really was inspired by my own personal experience with not understanding poverty. I grew up in an average middle class family and had an average middle class experience. Now, we didn't have tons of money, but we had enough to get by, and I was very comfortable. I never thought about it. It wasn't until I became an adult and I read the book When Helping Hurts and I watched the movie Poverty Inc. that I began to really question and wonder. But I didn't have the framework. I didn't have the information to understand. I knew that some of the ways we structured our social programs in the U.S. weren't effective, but I didn't understand why. It wasn't until I was reading Walking with the Poor by Bryant Myers as part of the Master of Arts in Global Development and Justice program at Multnomah University that I really began to understand some of the complexities of poverty. And in that process, as I became more aware of the complexities, I recognized that I wasn't alone. A lot of people, especially in the evangelical community, don't really understand poverty. We haven't been exposed to different definitions. We haven't had conversations. We think about development as something for overseas and other places, and we don't really look at how our understanding of poverty and our perspective on development really affects how we engage in ministry. How do churches decide who they're going to help? How do ministries decide what strategies they're going to use? It all ties back to, ultimately, how we view poverty. And in the conversations that I've had with people in Spokane, especially as we have a growing homelessness problem, people, really neat people who love Jesus and who care deeply and have invested very generously in helping fulfill the Great Commission around the world, are expressing frustration. And I think it has to do with really not understanding the complexities of poverty and asking the wrong questions and coming up with the wrong solutions and experiencing frustration because of that. So the purpose of the Good Neighbor Consortium is to change the perspective evangelicals have on poverty, its causes, and the best possible solutions. Our vision with the Good Neighbor Consortium is to see Spokane become a place where a majority of evangelical believers recognize the complex causes of poverty and can help advocate for all of God's image bearers in our city. Our mission is to offer biblical education demonstrating the link between fulfilling the Great Commission and advocacy for the poor. So how are we going to do that? The goal is to put together a workshop that will present different perspectives on poverty, different definitions from the different development practitioners, and do that in a focus group with different pastors, develop that, and within the first 6 months have a finalized product that we can then take to other churches. The goal would be 3 workshops with at least 15 participants in the first year. The goal would be have 75% of churches in Spokane covered within 3 years. And the 5-year goal is to reach out and have opportunities to present at 90% of the evangelical churches in Spokane. If we're able to do that, or part of being able to do that would be a lot of networking, a lot of conversations. So the goal would be 3 new connections every month. A new pastor, new ministry leader, new church person, new believer, Christian business owner. And present the workshop so that people can have a more holistic understanding of what poverty is. And the distinctive with the Good Neighbor Consortium is that instead of just telling people what poverty is and telling them how to engage with poverty moving forward, our goal is simply to help people understand the complex definition of poverty so that they can ask better questions. And as we ask better questions and more appropriate questions, we can come up with more effective solutions that address both the physical consequences of poverty, homelessness, lack of material assets, trouble with paying bills, but also the deeper issues that go into people's identity, how they see themselves, how they're viewed in our culture, and how they're viewed in the church. And I think a best case scenario, as we see more and more people in the evangelical community understand the complexities of poverty and be able to ask more effective questions, we'll see more people engaged in helping address the problem on every level. And that's not just good for people who are dealing with the consequences of poverty. That's good for everybody. That's good for Spokane. Thank you for your time.